Welcome back to Talk Tickers, where we help you break down earnings calls.
Yeah, and really figure out what's driving the market.
Today, we are diving deep into Dexcom's Q4 2024 performance.
It was a phenomenal year for them.
And we're going to explore, what drove that success.
What it means for investors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we get into the weeds a little bit, let's just set the stage here.
All right.
Dexcom reported 8% organic revenue growth year over year for Q4, bringing their full year organic revenue growth to 12%.
Nice.
Right on target with their guidance.
Right.
Which is impressive.
Very.
Considering the macroeconomic headwinds that we saw many companies facing.
Yeah, definitely a tough year for a lot of companies.
Yeah, so to achieve that growth.
It is impressive, especially while also investing heavily in expanding their market reach, developing new products.
Right.
It suggests that they have a really strong underlying business model and management team that's playing the long game here.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of expanding their reach, they reported a 25% increase in their global customer base.
Wow.
Ending 2024 with over 2.8 million users.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah, that's huge. And it seems to be fueled by a number of different factors.
A lot of things going right for them. Yeah, it's not just about riding the overall market growth.
Right.
Dexcom made some really smart moves this year to tackle some of those Salesforce productivity challenges we were talking about. They expanded their U.S. prescriber base by an incredible 50,000.
Wow.
And we're seeing this resurgence in prescriptions per healthcare professional.
Okay.
That directly translates into those record new customer starts we saw in the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, so it sounds like they really kind of took a potential weakness and flipped it into a strength.
Get around.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, but what about their kind of stated mission to make CGM technology accessible to a wider population?
Yeah.
How's that going?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
They secured landmark coverage wins with 2 of the 3 largest pharmacy benefit managers in the U.S.
Yeah.
Now, this means that over 5 million type 2 diabetes patients who previously lacked coverage can now access Dexcom's CGM technology.
That's a game changer.
Huge.
Yeah. It really opens up the market for them.
Oh, yeah.
And could be a huge catalyst for growth.
Absolutely. And it's not just a U.S. phenomenon either.
Okay.
They've secured key coverage wins in France and New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Demonstrating that they can really navigate these diverse healthcare systems and expand globally.
Yeah, so it seems like they're not just content with the U.S. market.
No.
They really want to be a global player.
Global player for sure.
All right, let's talk about Stilo for a second.
Okay.
That's their over-the-counter CGM product.
Right.
It's only been out for a few months.
Yeah.
But they've already attracted over 140,000 users.
That's exceeding expectations for sure.
Yeah, that's got to be well beyond what they were hoping for.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating about Stilo is it's attracting users beyond just the traditional diabetes market.
Okay.
They're seeing interest from pre-diabetic individuals and the health and wellness community.
Oh, that's interesting.
So this opens up a whole new avenue for growth and positions. Dexcom, as you know, more than just a diabetes company.
Yeah, and this is where I think it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
They're integrating Stilo with the Oura Ring, which tracks sleep and activity.
Yeah.
And then they're using AI to provide personalized insights to users.
Right.
So it sounds like they're kind of building this much more holistic health platform.
Yeah.
That it could be really appealing to a broader audience.
You're spot on. So they're not content with just being a glucose monitoring company.
Right.
They're thinking bigger.
Yeah.
Leveraging partnerships and technology to create this more comprehensive and engaging user experience.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're really kind of firing on all cylinders.
They are.
But what about their financial outlook?
Yeah.
What are they projecting for 2025?
So they're projecting 14% revenue growth in 2025.
Okay.
Driven by, continued category expansion, stable DME share, broader Stilo distribution, and of course, their robust product pipeline.
Right.
They've got the G7 15-day system launching in the second half of the year,
right,
which should improve convenience for users and boost their margins.
Right. But the thing that really has me intrigued is this next generation G8 platform.
Oh, yeah.
They're being a little secretive about the details.
It's tight-lipped.
But they've hinted at a smaller wearable, enhanced features, and multi-analyte monitoring capabilities.
That's the big one.
Yeah, this could be a real game changer.
Yeah, it could be their iPhone moment.
Yeah.
Just imagine the possibilities if they can accurately and reliably monitor multiple biomarkers
Right.
with a single device. It would be transformative for personalized health management.
Right.
And could open up entirely new markets for Dexcom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exciting to think about.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff.
But let's dive into those financials a bit more.
Right.
They're projecting that 14% revenue growth for 2025.
Uh-huh.
That's a bold target.
It is.
I'm kind of curious, what are some of the key assumptions that underpin that projection?
So they're assuming stable DME share.
Okay.
But considering their success with expanding that prescriber base,
Right.
there's a good chance they could actually gain market share.
Oh, okay.
And then those international coverage wins.
Right.
Those could translate into even faster growth in those markets than they're currently anticipating.
That's interesting.
So there's definitely potential for them to outperform their guidance.
Okay.
Especially if things really take off internationally.
So there's some upside potential there.
There is.
But what about profitability?
Yeah. They've been investing heavily in growth.
Right.
But they've also guided to improved margins in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
How do those two things kind of play together?
So they're expecting their non-GAAP gross profit margin to be in the range of 64% to 65% in 2025.
Okay.
This improvement's largely due to the transition to G7.
Okay.
As more users adopt G7,
Right.
They benefit from manufacturing scale and lower production costs.
Okay.
And then there's the 15-day G7 system launching later this year.
Right.
Fewer sensor replacements.
Yeah.
Even better margins for them.
So it sounds like kind of a classic scaling story. As they grow and introduce more cost-effective products,
Exactly.
the margins naturally improve,
Right.
which allows them to fuel further investments.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty smart, sustainable growth strategy.
Yeah. I like it.
But, one thing I'm still not quite grasping is this whole
Yeah.
multi-analyte monitoring thing with G8.
It's a little out there. It sounds like science fiction to me.
It does.
How does that even work, and
Yeah.
what kind of impact could it have?
It's definitely cutting edge,
Yeah.
but it is rooted in solid science.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Your glucose levels don't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
They're influenced by a whole host of other factors.
Sure.
Like your stress levels, sleep quality, diet, exercise.
Right.
By monitoring multiple biomarkers simultaneously, you can get a much more holistic
Okay.
and accurate picture of your metabolic health.
So instead of just seeing your glucose levels spike after a meal,
Right.
you might also see your cortisol levels rise.
Yeah.
Indicating stress.
Stress response.
Or your ketone levels change.
Yeah.
Reflecting your fat-burning state.
Exactly.
So it's like having a window into your metabolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And that level of insight could be incredibly valuable. Not just for managing diabetes, but for
optimizing athletic performance, or even just understanding your body better.
Right.
For example, someone with type 2 diabetes could use this data to make real-time adjustments to their diet and exercise.
Oh, wow.
Potentially reducing their reliance on medication.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
So,
yeah.
But it's not just about individual users, right?
No.
What are the broader implications for healthcare as a whole?
Well, think about the potential for early disease detection.
Okay.
Many chronic conditions manifest as subtle changes in our biomarkers long before they become symptomatic.
Oh, okay.
So if we can detect those changes early, we can intervene earlier and potentially prevent or delay the onset of disease.
Wow.
That could have a profound impact on healthcare costs and patient outcomes.
So it's not just about managing existing conditions.
No.
It's about preventing new ones from developing in the first place.
Exactly.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It is a paradigm shift.
And Dexcom is positioning themselves to be at the forefront of that.
Yeah, they're building a platform that goes beyond just glucose monitoring, integrating data from multiple sources, leveraging AI to provide personalized insights.
Yeah.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
And if they can execute it successfully, they have the potential to really revolutionize healthcare.
It's definitely exciting to think about all the possibilities.
Yeah, no doubt.
But before we get too carried away here, let's transition to our This Is Not Financial Advice segment, where we unleash our inner speculators.
Let's do it.
And cook up some wild trade ideas.
Have some fun.
Based on what we've learned.
All right.
Are you ready to get creative?
Always.
All right, here's my crazy idea.
Okay.
What if Dexcom's multi-analyte monitoring technology becomes so advanced and so widely adopted that it completely disrupts the insurance industry.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine a world where people are constantly monitoring their health data.
Right.
And using it to make proactive decisions about their lifestyle.
Yeah,
They're eating better,
yeah,
exercising more, and catching health issues before they become major problems.
Yeah.
What happens to insurance premiums in that world?
Well, if people are generally healthier
Right.
and require less medical care,
Right.
insurance companies would theoretically have to lower their premiums to remain competitive.
Exactly.
It's a classic case of preventative care disrupting the traditional reactive care model.
So my crazy trade idea is this.
Okay.
Short the major health insurance companies
Right.
and go long Dexcom.
Interesting.
It's a bet on a future where continuous health monitoring becomes so mainstream that it fundamentally alters the healthcare landscape.
That's a bold move.
It is.
But I can see the logic.
Yeah.
It's a bet on a paradigm shift in healthcare.
Exactly.
And Dexcom is certainly well positioned to capitalize on that shift.
Of course, this is pure speculation, folks.
Pure speculation.
We're just having some fun here. This is not financial advice for a reason.
Yeah, don't make any investment decisions based on our wild ramblings.
Do your own research, consult with a financial advisor.
Right.
And remember, all investments carry risk.
All investments carry risk. That's right.
All right, so now that we got that disclaimer out of the way, let's wrap up our deep dive into Dexcom's Q4 2024 performance. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has been.
And I think we can all agree that Dexcom is a company worth watching closely.
Absolutely. A company that's constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it with a clear mission to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's rare to find a company that combines such strong financial performance with such a compelling social impact.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
They're definitely one to keep an eye on.
For sure.
So until next time, keep on learning, keep on questioning.
Keep on questioning.
And most importantly, keep on diving deep.
Dive deep.
All right, so we've covered a lot of exciting developments, but let's dive into the financials a bit more.
Okay.
They're projecting 14% revenue growth for 2025.
Right.
That's a bold target.
Right.
I'm curious, what are some of the key assumptions underpinning that projection?
Well, they're assuming stable DME share, but considering their success with expanding their prescriber base, there's a good chance they could gain market share.
Oh, interesting.
And those international coverage wins, those could translate into even faster growth in those markets than they're anticipating.
So there's potential for them to outperform their guidance.
Absolutely.
Especially if things really take off internationally.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about profitability?
Yeah, good question.
You know, they've been investing heavily in growth,
but
they've also guided to improved margins in 2025. How do those two things align?
They're expecting their non-GAAP gross profit margin to be in the range of 64 to 65% in 2025.
Okay.
This improvement is largely due to the transition to G7. As more users adopt G7, they benefit from manufacturing scale and lower production costs.
Right. Makes sense.
And then there's the 15-day G7 system launching later this year.
Right.
Fewer sensor replacements mean even better margins for them.
So it sounds like kind of a classic scaling story.
It is a classic scaling story, yeah.
As they grow and introduce more cost-effective products, the margins naturally improve.
Exactly.
Which allows them to fuel further investments. It's a pretty smart, sustainable growth strategy.
It is.
But, you know, one thing I'm still not quite grasping is this whole multi-analyte monitoring thing with G8.
It's pretty futuristic.
Yeah, it sounds like science fiction to me.
It does sound a bit out there.
How does that even work, and what kind of impact could it have?
It's definitely cutting edge, but it is rooted in solid science.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Your glucose levels don't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
They're influenced by a whole host of other factors like stress levels, sleep quality, diet, and exercise.
Sure.
So by monitoring multiple biomarkers simultaneously, you can get a much more holistic and accurate picture of your metabolic health.
So instead of just seeing your glucose levels spike after a meal,
Right.
you might also see like your cortisol levels rise, indicating stress, or your ketone levels change, reflecting your fat-burning state.
Exactly.
It's like having a window into your metabolism.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And that level of insight could be incredibly valuable. I mean, not just for managing diabetes, but for...
Absolutely. Optimizing athletic performance or even just understanding your body better.
Right.
For example, someone with type 2 diabetes could use this data to make real-time adjustments to their diet and exercise, potentially reducing their reliance on medication.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. It's a huge development.
But it's not just about individual users, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
What are the broader implications for healthcare as a whole?
Well, think about the potential for early disease detection.
Okay.
Many chronic conditions manifest as subtle changes in our biomarkers long before they become symptomatic. So if we can detect those changes early, we can intervene earlier and potentially prevent or delay the onset of disease.
Wow.
That could have a profound impact on healthcare costs and patient outcomes.
So it's not just about managing existing conditions, it's about preventing new ones from developing in the first place.
Exactly. A real paradigm shift.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It is.
And Dexcom is positioning themselves to be at the forefront of that.
Yeah, they're building a platform that goes beyond just glucose monitoring, integrating data from multiple sources, and leveraging AI to provide personalized insights. It's a bold vision, and if they can execute it successfully, they have the potential to revolutionize healthcare.
So we just threw out a pretty wild trade idea, shorting health insurance companies and going long Dexcom.
It was a little out there.
But, let's step back for a minute and think about the bigger picture here.
Right.
They're not just developing new products.
Right.
They're really pioneering a whole new approach to healthcare, one that's proactive, personalized, and data-driven.
That's what's so exciting about it.
Yeah, it's really kind of a fundamental shift.
It is.
In how we think about healthcare.
And they're not just chasing profits.
Right.
They're genuinely trying to make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in a way that's both innovative and sustainable.
It's inspiring to see a company that's not just focused on the bottom line.
Yeah.
But, really driven by this larger purpose.
Yeah, a mission.
Yeah, and that purpose is evident in everything they do.
For sure.
From their commitment to expanding access to CGM technology to, their relentless pursuit of innovation.
I think their focus on access is particularly noteworthy by advocating for broader insurance coverage and developing more affordable products like Stilo. They're making CGM technology available to millions of people who previously couldn't afford it.
Right.
That's a real game changer in terms of health equity. And it could have a ripple effect on public health for years to come.
Absolutely. And their focus on innovation is equally impressive.
Oh, yeah.
The G8 platform, with its potential for multi-analyte monitoring, could be a true inflection point in the evolution of healthcare.
Absolutely.
It's not hard to imagine a future where continuous health monitoring becomes as commonplace as wearing a smartwatch.
Yeah, like a Fitbit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another wearable.
Empowering individuals to take control of their health in ways we can only dream of today.
It's an exciting future.
Yeah, it really is. Well, folks, there you have it, a deep dive into Dexcom's Q4 2024 performance.
Yeah, it was a good one.
And a glimpse into the future of healthcare.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground today, from record customer growth and impressive financial results to groundbreaking innovations.
For sure.
And bold visions for the future.
Bold visions.
I think we can all agree that Dexcom is a company worth watching closely.
Absolutely. Not just for investors, but for anyone who's interested in the future of health and well-being.
Couldn't agree more. They're definitely one to keep an eye on.
For sure.
So until next time, keep on learning, keep on questioning, and most importantly, keep on diving deep.
Dive deep.